stages of team development. We've been walking through the different stages, and tonight we're going to kind of build upon what we talked about last week. And I want you to, again, stay connected, plug in, get your notepads and all that good stuff, because the conversation that we're going to have today is really going to be beneficial in how you connect or reconnect with your team, because some of us are having to reconnect because maybe we're going from a virtual space to an in-person space, or maybe we were virtual and now we're going back or back and forth, or we're splitting it half and half, or you just notice that there have been some changes within your team. So it's going to be important that you really ensure that how you are navigating your team and how you are managing and how you are supporting them is effective. And the reason why this conversation is important for me is because I've realized that when it comes to team development, there's no one way to do it. I've realized that depending on the team that I've had, or depending on the seasons that I've been in, that I've had to kind of make some different adjustments to how I've had to show up for my team. I mentioned it earlier in a couple lives that I've done before, a couple lives ago, right? And I talked about how recently we went through a storm. We went through a major storm. There were a lot of transitions that occurred within my team. And we had to navigate something major within our team. Now we are in the norming stage, because we are now getting acclimated to the rhythm of how things were before we had that big hit. We are norming. And hopefully we're going to get to this stage that we're going to discuss tonight, the performance phase. Because yes, we want to get to high performance, and everybody wants to get to high performance. Everybody talks about, I want a high performing team. But a lot of leaders don't recognize the stages that you have to go through before you even get to that high performance. And that's why it's important for you to, again, recognize the key factors and the key things that you need to pay attention to throughout each stage. Because by you paying attention to it, by you taking specific actions within each phase, when you do get to the storm, or when you do get to that norming stage, it's going to click and it's going to really mesh effectively. All right. All right, guys. If this is your first time joining me tonight, I'm Aisha Thomas, your organizational development and leadership consultant. Hello. All right. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to aishathomas.org, learn more about me. Connect with me. My email is info@aishathomas.org, or you can follow me on social media at Miss Aisha Thomas, where I provide resources, tools, information, drop little nuggets of information to really help you effectively lead, manage. And when I talk about leadership, I'm not just talking about leading within an organization, but it's also leading yourself, self-leadership. It's also leading, intrinsically. So different areas and different focus points of leadership is what you're going to learn. So make sure you follow me to get that information. All right. So again, we're focused on back to the office, back in the office, how to rebuild, or build your team. And we've been building upon Tuckerman's 5 stages of team development. And this is something that is a consistent cyclical cycle, right? It's cyclical, keeps going around and around we go. And there's some key things that we tend to miss during each cycle. We just go with the flow with leadership. We go with the flow, and sometimes we don't pause and recognize or ask ourselves, what stage are we in? Asking yourself that simple question, and then going back and saying, okay, so if I'm in this stage, what area should I be looking at? What things should I be focusing on? What adjustments do I need to make? Oh, this is why my team is navigating this way because of this. And this is how I can navigate this part or this stage effectively so I can get to that high performance. We just move and we just flow without being strategic. And it's about strategic leadership. If you want to get to high performance, you have to be strategic. So let's do a quick recap. So last week we talked about norming. That's the 3rd stage. So we've gotten past the storm, right? The storm is over. We've gotten past it. And all leaders are going to go through the storm. I like to emphasize that. There's no way to get around the storm. We're going to go through the storm a few times. It strengthens us. We learn something in every stage of leadership. It's a beautiful thing that we learn so many great things in each phases. And in the storm, we learn things, and we might lose people. We might, and it's okay. But if you're really implementing these tools, learning the lessons, you'll start to identify and recognize, okay, this is how I can apply this next time. This is the adjustments I can make. And it also can really allow you guys to build and connect stronger. So now after you go through the storm, now it's norming, right? Things have normalized. Team interaction improves. There's cooperation and unity when once there wasn't. Productivity and performance increases, right? Because again, in a storm, productivity, it wanes, right? It dips. Performance lags, but now it's increasing. Now you have a good balance. Differences are resolved. So there's conflict resolution that occurs. Conversations that are had, which are so important. Respect is resolved within the team. So there's respect that occurs, which is important. And I mentioned it last time that leaders can lose respect. Just because you wear a leadership hat, just because you have a position doesn't automatically give you respect. So it's something that we really have to navigate effectively, because we can lose it, but we can also rebuild it. We can get that trust back, right? We really can. So respect is resolved within the team and the leader. Team cohesion happens during the norm. So now we are going to transition into performing. Ooh, this is the good stuff. This is now we have a really good flow. Things are really gelling well. People are getting along and they're flowing very effectively. And I've been utilizing the example from the movie Remember the Titans to really allow you all to see what that looks like, what the performing stage looks like. Now we have an established team organization and solution-based focus. We resolve the issues. We have a focus point. We're clear on our vision. We have trust. We have respect. Productivity is happening. Resource optimization. Now you're seeing results. Success is happening. Goals are being reached in the performance stage. But before we even got to the performance stage, we had to go through the other stages. And a lot of leaders like to go into organizations thinking that they're going to just start from number 1 and jump to number 4, not realizing that you have to go through the storm, not realizing that you have to go through all these different phases of building. It's like a building block. You have to walk up these different steps before you even get to high performance. Trust does have to be rebuilt or built. There might be a bit of chaos. There might be questions that are asked. There might be some shifts that need to occur, conversations that need to happen, conflict that needs to be resolved. Again, you're bringing a multitude of personalities together that don't know each other, different behavior styles. You're getting clarity on who has what talents. Yes, you have this interview with the individual. You know how they work individually, but how do they work in a group? How do you take all these amazing talents and allow them to now connect the puzzle pieces together to build and create? And now you see the vision come to life. That takes time. Think about a puzzle. Imagine opening a box and then the puzzle is put together. That's not how it typically happens. Typically, when you purchase a box of a puzzle box, all the pieces are scattered. That's the same thing when it comes to leadership. Ooh, you know what puzzle that you want to put together. I know that's going to be a good one. Now I need to take time to put it together and put it together effectively. And sometimes certain pieces don't fit. You might have a team member working in this role and they don't fit in that role. You might realize, ooh, you really are talented here. So why do I have you here? Some people might disconnect. They might transition. But what you'll see over time, if you really continue to build and continue to navigate that effectively, go back to the drawing board, identify what development issues you have, what areas you need to work on, what type of shifts you need to make, you'll start to see that, okay, the puzzle is now coming together. And now you get to this stage of performing. So now we are going to watch the video, right? Because again, we have been utilizing the awesome movie, Remember the Titans, as an example of watching this process. So we watched them go through all these different challenges. And now we're going to see these gentlemen go from, right, conflict, development, storm. Now they're getting a stride, they're getting along. And now these individuals are now starting to vibe and connect. And now you see the performance aspect of it.
Agile! Hostile! What is pain? Fresh bread! What is fatigue? Ugly clothes! Will you ever quit? No! We want some more! We want some more! We want some more! Coach, get a timeout! Timeout!
Coach, just slant to a strong side every time. You gotta catch him in that slant and let him move pursuit. He's onto your game. You gotta throw something at him he's not ready for.
Ref! Miss Ref.
Yes, sir.
All right, listen, you ready to run?
Yes, sir. Fake 23 blast with a backside George reverse. You got that? Fake 23 blast with a backside George reverse like your life depended upon it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go get him.
The Titans take the field with time to run one final play for the state championship.
I thought he was injured. I guess not. Why are they bringing a QB?
Throw it deep. Cover deep! Watch the deep pass, cover deep! And what?
They won. But would they have been able to get there if they didn't go through each one of those phases? You have a group of individuals from different sides that came together. Yes, they were all talented. They were gifted in the roles that they had, right? However, there was team cohesion that was required to be built, that had to be formed. So they had to go through these stages. They had to learn what plays they needed to play. This group of individuals had to get a system together, learn how to work together. Who was gifted at catching the ball? Who was gifted at throwing the ball? Who was gifted to do this? Who was gifted to do that? That takes time. And then once they had practiced, they worked on it, they had a good system in place, then they were able to show up at the game and perform effectively and win. Touchdown, the goal. So how can you expect as a leader to build a team and you're just going to get touchdown without going through this process of practicing? And for you, practicing, right, is actually taking all these talents and putting them into play. Meaning now this individual is working on this piece of the project. This person is working on this piece of the project. They're talking, they're conversing, they're connecting, they're identifying what works, what doesn't work. They're coming up with a schedule. They're figuring out how each person flows. They're collecting feedback from one another. That takes time. They don't just show up on day one and now, boom, we hit the goal on day one. There's conversations that need to be had. Again, there might be conflict. There might be things that happen throughout the process. Every team that we know, from a sports team or from any company, in order for them to get to that level of high performance, they have to go through different stages in order for them to get to high performance. So you must realize that's what it's going to take in order for you to get there as well. So let's go back to looking at the performance stage once more. So again, when we're looking at the performance stage, this is where we've established team organization, solution-based focus. So we're really focused on the solution. We have team commitment. We're committed now, right? There might have not been a level of commitment before. Just think about it. Again, going back to that movie, what if they didn't commit to the play? Somebody didn't commit to catching the ball. Somebody didn't commit running to the end zone. Then what? They have organization. They know this is step 1, step 2, step 3, and this is how we get to step 4, which is what's necessary for us to reach the goal. Goal progression is significant. So now you're progressing where before you weren't progressing. Now there's progression. Now you're reaching those goals. Resources are being utilized effectively, which is extremely important. Financial resources, whatever resources, human resources, because now you know who is effective in what area. You know, okay, I need to contact this person at this point. I know this person is good here. Now you know how to utilize your resources effectively. So now they're optimized well. Now you're getting better results. And now success happens. And now we can celebrate. We can celebrate now because we're winning. So we just saw now everybody was like, touchdown. Everybody was celebrating. Celebrate good time. And the great part about this specific stage is it's a great opportunity for you to delegate more. And the reality is at this point, you're less hands-on. Because remember, in the beginning of this process, you're more hands-on, you got to be more involved, but now everyone has a flow. So you don't have to be as involved as you were before. Now you can step back a little bit. And now you can truly develop. Because we're always in a stage of growth. There might be some things that team member 1 needs to work on, team member 2 to just get them on the next level. Maybe team member 2 can help team member 1 build upon the skills that they already have so they can really be effective in an area. So now that you have gotten through the maybe chaotic stage, now that you have clarity, now you're like, okay, guys, now we can really start working on some more professional development. Because again, it's going to be important that you really hone into your team and work together to get through that tough part or get through that clarity season. And once you get through that, okay, guys, now we can develop. Now we can focus on these other things. So make sure that in this season, in this stage, that development is happening. Go back to that development plan that you have. And if you need a development plan, you can go to my website. I have a free checklist that you can download. It is a development plan that you can download and it actually walks you through. It has a checklist of things you should be looking for when you are identifying or creating an employee development plan. And business leaders, you need this as well. If you have team members, you should be considering what are you doing to develop them. So that's how you get to high performance, going through each stage. But again, what are you doing to ensure that you are developing your team in this season? Because you are not as hands-on, but you can bring in additional resources, support to help your team continue to grow as you get to new levels. Because as you get to new levels, there's more that you can help them develop in to prepare them for those next levels. All right. Good stuff. All right. So as always, make sure you guys go and check out my podcast, Internal Fire. Great information on there. So make sure you guys check it out. It's on all all platforms. So I hope you guys go out and check it out. Good information. I have some new episodes coming out. I've just been busy, but I have some new episodes coming out. So please go check that out. Again, Internal Fire, and that's fire with a Y, leadership tips, strategies, tools. So make sure you guys go out and check it out. All right. And then finally, again, if you want to reach out to me, please go to my website, aishathomas.org. Or if you have any questions, concerns, if you're like, you know what, can you detail some information in regards to that stage again, email me, ask me those questions, shoot me an email, or you can shoot me a message via social media at Miss Aisha Thomas. And of course, does your organization, does your business, do you need some organizational development strategies, leadership consulting, or some training and development? Let me know. Please contact me because I am here to support you in those areas. As always, I thank you guys for tapping in tonight, right? Tapping into these professional development, into these tools that's going to benefit you as far as developing and growing you as a leader. Because again, in this process, you're growing as well as a leader. It's going to benefit you as a leader. If you're an aspiring leader, someone that's brand new, this is giving you the hack, right? To basically not make the mistakes that I made, things that I didn't know when I first started. And if you're a leader that's seasoned, this is going to be things that you can say, you know what, I can implement this now so I don't make the same mistakes. All right. So this will benefit you regardless of what season of leadership you're in as well. So make sure you reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, or reach out to me if I can support you in one of those areas. And as always, I thank you guys for tuning in tonight.